Utaniruhusu kwanza nikupeleke katika makazi yake Naibu Rais William Ruto kule katika eneo la Karen. Tutarudi katika mjadala huu naye Bwana Joseph Karanja tuweze kusikia tayari Naibu Rais anaongea, tuweze kumsikiliza.
Finding time, I want to welcome the membership of the fourth estate, our press teams. Karibuni sana katika makao haya ya Naibu wa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. And by way of beginning, we have concluded the parliamentary group meeting for the Hustler Nation movement that encompasses members of parliament from different political parties that have now converged as members of one parliamentary group meeting. We have discussed a myriad of issues. We have discussed about our political formation, the United Democratic Alliance. We have discussed on parliamentary business that is currently before the House and that we intend to sponsor and support going forward. We have discussed matters of national importance. We've had a long discussion on the current situation in the country, especially relating to the COVID-19 pandemic that has ravaged the country. We took the position as a team when the Ministry of Health announced the surge in numbers to reschedule all our public engagements until further notice, as I announced formally on my social media platform. We've had also an in-depth discussion on matters to do with what we believe should be the current engagement on managing the COVID-19 pandemic, especially with reference to vaccination. And we are going to make a statement about that. We also appreciate this political situation in the country. And we've also discussed on other matters of housekeeping and how we intend to engage the public in our responsibilities, different responsibilities as members of parliament, as senators, and as leaders in the Republic of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a short statement that we are going to make. We appreciate that, as we said about 2 years ago, that it was the intention of this team to change the political conversation in our country. We are very proud and happy that finally the conversation in Kenya has changed. And today we are not discussing about constitutional change. We are discussing matters economy. That we are not engaged in an exercise of trying to create positions for leaders, that we are in the passionate engagement to see how we can create jobs for ordinary citizens. That today in Kenya, the conversation is not about leaders and what is in it for them in the next political dispensation, the discussion is what is in it for Mama Mboga, the boda guys, the ordinary people in Kenya. We are very proud that while in the past we were discussing about the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister and other positions, today Mama Mboga has taken the center stage. And the boda guy is at the heart of the political conversation in Kenya. We welcome our competitors who have graciously accepted to join us in the conversation about the economy of our country, about ordinary people, about jobs, about enterprise. We want to tell them we are ready and we want to engage in that conversation that is going to bury forever the politics of ethnicity, the politics of division and hate, and is going to elevate our political competition to the realm of issues that would make a difference in the lives of the people of Kenya. We understand that our competitors have criticized matters to do with the economy and matters to do with our bottom-up model. We welcome all the criticism because it is an avenue for us to improve on our model. And while we are at it, they should equally explain to the country how their trickle-down economic model that has not worked for the last 50, 60 years is going to work this time round. It is a healthy conversation. We want to persuade them to remove insults and the reference to bottom-up or bottoms-up liquor competition or anatomy of different parts of the body. We should get rid of those insults. Let us have a healthy competition, a conversation about the economy of our country. Kenya will be a lot better, and Kenya stands a chance to be greater when we all engage in issues, especially on the bottom-up economic model, to lift the millions of citizens of our nation that today either are jobless or are hustling, or farmers and pastoralists and herders who are on food relief. It is our very considered view that our focus on these 15 million Kenyans will not only help us broaden and expand and recruit new taxpayers. We will have the necessary, they will help us to raise the necessary resources to run government, and also the necessary resources for us to retire debt that is becoming a crisis in our country. I do not wish to say more than that. Let me now request, starting with Alice Wahome, to begin our statement. Alice.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Members of the press, this is a written statement signed by all the members that are present for this press conference. I'll start. Kenyans desire a new, inclusive, people-centered conversation on the future of our nation. That's our title. The governing Jubilee Party has collapsed. The opposition NASA coalition has disintegrated. The Hustler nation has found a new home in the United Democratic Alliance. We welcome all Kenyans who desire a greater future to join us in the United Democratic Alliance. In 2017, Jubilee was elected by an overwhelming majority on the platform of the Big Four agenda that was anchored on the success of the party's first term. Subsequently, a merger of the governing party and the opposition coalition was occasioned by the handshake that was presented ostensibly as a framework for peace and economic growth. Kenyans initially welcomed this development and hoped that the promise of a peaceful environment would facilitate the implementation of the Big Four agenda and enable the Jubilee administration to continue with its development plan. That was never to be. I will now call Pam to continue with the statement.
Sadly, this framework degenerated into an unnecessary, arbitrary, selfish, and unconstitutional attempt at changing the Constitution that occasioned unlawful and unbudgeted expenditure of billions of shillings of public resources that are to date unaccounted for and are a subject of the Auditor General's inquiry. Little wonder, a recent survey has shown that 72% of Kenyans believe that the country is headed in the wrong direction. For 4 good years, the country has been engaged in the BBI process, characterized by hubris, chest thumping, blackmail, intimidation, and bribery. In this process, party parliamentary committee leadership and members who were perceived to be disagreeable to this scheme became victims of a vicious purge and expulsion. Besides, the criminal justice system, Kenya Revenue Authority, and other state agencies were mobilized and weaponized to intimidate, blackmail, victimize, and persecute leaders, business people, and ordinary Kenyans perceived to be opposed to this unconstitutional order, BBI, and its anti-people recommendations. This provided a leeway for the attempted vandalism of the Constitution of our country. Fortunately, the judiciary made a very profound decision affirming the supremacy of the people, their Constitution, and independent institutions. Honorable Cecily Mbarire.
Regrettably, the NASA coalition, its principals, and their Jubilee collaborators took the government hostage, hijacked its agenda, and 1, completely destroyed the governing Jubilee Party and dismembered the entire opposition coalition. 2, emasculated parliament, undermined the rule of law, threatened the independence of the judiciary, and emboldened impunity. 3, sabotaged job creation, universal health coverage, food security and manufacturing, thus cutting the entire Big Four plan. 4, criminalized hustler enterprises in places like Nyamakema, Gikomba,
Kamukunji, Kirinyaga Road, and River Road, amongst others. 5, presided over the brutal or inhuman evictions and demolitions of the vulnerable and destruction of private property in places like Kariobangi, Ruai, amongst many other places across the country. 6, mismanage the economy, leading to stockpiling of public debt to unprecedented levels that has occasioned the current economic crisis that our country is facing. I wish to call upon Honorable Benjamin Tayari. Thank you.
Thank you. Our approach towards a bottom-up economic and governance model. To address this sad and grim state of affairs facing our country, the Hustler Nation, forged by the people in the diversity from all parts of the country, here represented by leaders from across the political divide, believe in a new economic and political paradigm that prioritizes 1, bottom-up over trickle-down economics. 2, the people over their leaders. 3, empowerment over power sharing. 4, jobs over positions. 5, enterprise over patronage. 6, economic transformation over opportunistic constitutional amendments. I hereby call Honorable Mabonga to continue.
Focused on this new paradigm and through a bottom-up economic and governance model, it's possible to enable the over 15 million Kenyans at the bottom of the pyramid to be active and meaningful participants in the economy through deliberate 1, public to private labor-intensive investment framework to create jobs. 2, financing instruments and mechanisms to spur, promote, and empower hustler enterprises such as Mama Mboka, hawkers, bodabodas, artisans, artists, among others. And then 3, facilitation and enhancement of productivity of farmers, pastoralists, fisher folk, and other actors within agriculture value chain. Number 4, implementation of manufacturing and industrial program that prioritizes cottage industries as a multiplier of national productivity. In the meantime, we will continue sponsoring and supporting people-centered legislation and policies that entrench the objectives of bottom-up economic and governance model, and we will also sensitize the public to remove what is in the heads of the majority. May I take this opportunity to invite the leader of majority, Hon. Adam Duale, the man of all seasons.
Thank you, Member for Bumula. It is our considered view that to open up the economy, and this is on COVID-19 pandemic, as the PG, we have deliberated the matter, and we are saying it is our considered view that to open up the economy and to facilitate economic activity among our people, especially for the millions of hustlers, it is imperative on the part of government to proactively and decisively deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. Currently, our country in the world is focused on the speedy mass vaccination of its population. We expect the Ministry of Health to, without any further delay, to roll out the vaccination of Kenyans with immediate effect, as earlier communicated by government and more so by His Excellency the President. Through mass vaccination, we can save lives and progressively reopen our economy the way it has been done in many other countries. That is the end of our statement from the parliamentary group. We had 135 members of parliament from both houses. 15 have sent their apologies. We have 2 of our governors, the governor for Turkana, Governor Namok, and the governor for Nandi, His Excellency Governor Sang. And I think you have had what the PG has discussed. Any other question you want to ask, if it is not part of our statement, that means it was not an agenda and we will not discuss it. But I think, like the Deputy President has said, mine is to send a message to our competitors, because the election is about 1 year to come. They believe in constitutional reforms and constitutional change. We believe the priority is the economy, and more so the bottom-up economic model. They believe in ganging up and forming tribal chieftain. We believe in a unified, unitary state, politics based on and space created for all Kenyans. They believe in sharing of positions, and that's why you see each one of them. They have no agenda, they have no manifesto, they have no economic model. Some are saying, my business is to deny William Ruto the presidency. That is the agenda of one of the leaders. Another one is so busy with trying to revive NASA and Oka Kenya. So we're saying our manifesto, our agenda is very clear, and we want them also to put in place why the bottom-up model is not good for Kenya, but the trickle-down model that we have lived with since independence is better than what we have. So that should be a discussion. That should be the narrative. So we want the people of Kenya to choose between us and them based on very informed social, economic, political models. That's it, I think. If you have 1 or 2 questions, then before we leave. Yes, from KTN. And it should be something on this statement.
Thank you, and very good afternoon. Chris Tairo from KTN. 2 questions. One, from your statement, you seem to be people who are not happy with the Jubilee Party that most of you members of Parliament have voted in. And to an extent of the juniors going ahead, even frustrating the second person in command in the country. Then one would ask, why not call it a day and you all resign, and I can see you have a formidable team and go to the ground and
help you. Let me help you
for votes.
Let me help you.
The second question. The second question. I would like to know the issue to do with PEP, the People's Empowerment Party. There have been reports that there have been some wrangles between PEP and UDA, especially in the Mount Kenya region, and that's the reason why the Gatundu South Member of Parliament, Moses Kuri, is not around. Maybe you can confirm that.
I think the first one, let me tell you, the members sitting behind me are members of United Democratic Alliance. We are in Jubilee normally, but the current and the future party of ours is UDA. So any other party we will not discuss. And I think too, we will not discuss about the person and the institution of the Deputy President. That was not part of our discussion as a council. Any other question? My friend from MTV.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Just before you ask, on PEP, the only member on PEP who is a hustler from the Hustler Nation is here and is part of our PG. And is here. Please.
Thank you so much, Seth Olale, NTV. just to ask if UDA is working with its affiliates TSP, Chama cha Kazi, and also you've said, leader of majority, you've said that, you know, you're either with us or not with us, but are you open as UDA now that you're going into a general election and we have a tradition of, you know, transfer of members of parliament and even politicians to other coalitions? Are you open to work with other coalitions such as OCA and the rest? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olale. As has been communicated to you, that was not part of the discussion today. So, at an appropriate moment, when that becomes a subject of discussion in our PG, we will ably respond to what you have said. So please hold your horses. Any other question? Yes.
My question is about bottom up. Can you be able to emphasize? We know the numbers of the youth in this country, they have no job. Can you be able to emphasize how are you going to improve that economically?
Yeah, good question. Good question there. If amongst the 15 million people at the bottom of the pyramid is about 4 million jobless Kenyans, it is our considered position that through policy change in investments, by investing not in capital intensive infrastructural programs, rather investing in labor intensive infrastructural programs, for example, housing, cottage industry, agro-processing, value addition, informal manufacturing, we can create millions of jobs. I know the question many people ask, where are you going to find the money? Let me tell you, we didn't have to look for additional money for us to do the 10,000 kilometers of roads we've done. We changed the model of building roads. We didn't have to get more money to connect more people to electricity, and we have connected now going to 8 million. We didn't have to get new money. We changed the model of connection. And that is why we are saying to fix this economy, using the same resources we have, by changing the model, we can create more jobs, we can create more enterprise, and we can get farmers and pastoralists supported to produce more. That is the bottom-up economic model. Yes, madam.
Jina langu ni Elizabeth Mutuku kutoka TV47. Kuna swala la safari yako ambayo ilikuwa ifanyike kule Uganda. Ningependa kusikia ni kipi kilitendeka, manake ukiangalia taifa la Uganda linasema halikuwa limearifiwa kuhusiana na hilo. Swala la pili, iwapo Jubilee, serikali ya Jubilee ilisambaratika, ni kwa nini mnaendelea kuwa ndani?
Asante sana. Jambo la kwanza, mambo yale umeguzia hayakuwa agenda ya mkutano huu, na hilo jambo tushalizungumzia, iko nyuma yetu. Sisi tunatizama tukienda mbele. Kwa swali lako la pili, sisi si waalikwa. We are not guests in any place. We join parties by choice, and you live by choice. So nobody should be bothered you know, and nobody should ask anybody why you are still here. This is a democratic country. So people make choices at the opportune moment when they think different choices are necessary. Thank you. One last more. Leto and yes, Sama Leto.
Okay, I'm Kaemba from Ebro TV.
Okay, Kaemba.
Yeah, my concern is about some of the issues being raised through the bottom-up approach. These are some of the issues maybe that can actually be implemented through some of your members of parliament, if they can actually come up with the legislative laws. Why is it taking long for some of the hustlers, for some of the MPs to actually work out issues affecting the hustlers currently? Because you understand, last time you said that some of the issues even being proposed in the BBI, your MPs can actually work on them currently.
I think if you read our statement, you will find the answer to your question. Bwana Kaemba. Yes.
I'm Stephen Leto from Citizen TV. Kenyans were yesterday taken aback when you opposed the establishment of a 4 billion shilling security factory in the country. And one will ask, why would you oppose a security factory that intends to boost security in the country? Or another one would accuse you of trying to run away from either the failure or the achievements of the current regime of the Jubilee Party administration.
Since you were not in the room where I made that statement, maybe I would recommend that. I think it's available on YouTube, my statement of yesterday, Leto. And if you listen to what I said, it is not what you are saying. I neither opposed nor am I trying to run away from anything. So if you just look at it, it will answer your question. Yes, my good friend.
Jina langu ni
the last one.
Yeah, naitwa Chacha kutoka Switch TV. Na swali langu ni kwa Mkenya kawaida ambaye katika uongozi ambao umekuwa ukihudumu, swala la deni limekuwa tatizo ama changamoto. Je, bottom up approach itasuluhisha vipi swala la deni humu nchini?
Good question. You had a chance. Sorry. Thank you very much. Swala hilo la deni tumelizungumzia kwa kirefu kwamba njia ya kutatua tatizo kubwa la madeni katika taifa letu la Kenya ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba tunapanua na kuwawezesha wananchi wengi, hasa wale hawana kazi, wale biashara yao ni ndogo, na wale hawazalishi kilimo ya kutosha. Tukiwawezesha wale hawana kazi wapate kazi, wataanza kulipa ushuru wakipata kazi. Tukiwasaidia wale wa kufanya biashara, kuwapa mikopo yenye riba ya chini, biashara zao zitapanuka na zitainuka, wataanza kulipa ushuru. Wakulima pia watazalisha chakula ya kutosha, wapate ile wanaitwa surplus, waweze kuuza, ndio tuweze kupata ushuru. Hawa Wakenya wote karibu milioni 5 tukiwawezesha kujumuika na wengine katika uchumi wa Kenya, pia tutakuwa tumewaongeza walipa ushuru karibu milioni 15, kuongezea wale walipa ushuru walioko sasa. Kumaanisha tutapata ushuru zaidi, na tukipata ushuru zaidi ama kodi zaidi, tutakuwa na uwezo wa kusimamia mambo yetu ya maendeleo na vile vile kugharamia kulipa madeni yetu, na vile vile tutaanza kupunguza na kuondoa baadaye completely kukopa madeni, kwa sababu tutakuwa na pesa ambayo sisi wenyewe kwa kuzalisha uchumi wetu kupitia hii bottom up model ambayo itawawezesha wale ambao hawana kazi wapate kazi, wale hawana biashara wafanye biashara, na wakulima wazalishe zaidi. Hiyo growth ya economy ndio itatusaidia kuwa na resources ya taxes nyingi, na itatuwezesha kuendesha serikali yetu bila ya kwenda kutafuta mikopo kutoka China na sehemu zingine. So bottom up holds the key to not only us creating jobs, creating enterprise and enabling our farmers, it also provides the key to us sorting out the big crisis of debt by making sure we have more Kenyans brought into the tax paying bracket, because we have enabled either them to get jobs or their enterprises to grow or their productivity to improve. Mimi naona hata wewe umekubali.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency.
Let me introduce our two new members elected by,
or if you like, the DP's residence in Karen, where members of parliament and leaders allied to UDA and the deputy president are having a presser. And among issues that they have raised include top of them economy, talking about also the public debt. They have poked holes also on the trickling down economic approach while explaining their bottom up economic model. Of course, they are also touched on the COVID management and the runaway corruption that is in the country. Also talking about also how they are going to ensure that Kenya is free from debt by empowering the mama mbogas, the borders, and those who do not have jobs, secure jobs, so that they may also contribute in the paying of debt by taxes. So if they increase the tax bracket, they know very well that Kenya will be rid of debts. Of course, they've also touched on a number of issues, including his choice, a good question, his choice on why he has not left the Jubilee Party after members of parliament and leaders allied to him also say that Jubilee is on its deathbed. But he has said that on an opportunistic or an opportune time, he will be making that a decision. Of course, we have our reporter on the ground who will also be helping us break down some of the issues that have been raised by the MPs and also leaders allied to UDA and the deputy president.